Hey guys, it's Janie with the Jade and USA podcast. As you know, if you've kept up, Josh has left the podcast, which is totally fine, totally cool. Yeah, this is a little different, a little weird, me doing my own intro, I guess. As Josh posted on Instagram, he is leaving for personal reasons. Also, just like the workload of the podcast was a little hard on him, which is totally understandable. As I found with working a regular 9 to 5 now, it's a lot of time out of your day, and you only get so many hours per day to work on your own things. Yeah, totally cool. I will miss him, of course. Having someone to bounce ideas off of, someone to banter with on the podcast, and someone to help with all of the tech and all of the social media. Yeah, so this podcast, obviously this is the first episode since November. With the holiday season, it was busy. Figuring out what I want to do with this podcast has been a big thing I've been thinking about often, as well as just the workload that it'll take. Yeah, I'm hoping to keep doing this podcast. Right now, the plan for it is a little up in the air. Obviously, this podcast was started as a kind of a Gen Z Asian American adoptee podcast, adoptees from the Midwest kind of thing. But it's a little hard, right? Because I don't know a lot of Asian adoptees from the Midwest out here in Seattle, which is fine, obviously, but it's a little harder to coordinate. As for a consistent co-host, I don't think I have any ideas for one. I have some adoptee friends that want to be on an episode or two, maybe, but not commit to a co-host position, which is totally fine. I think that's great. I would love that to happen. It's just logistically, it's something I have to work out. Something of, buying the equipment, shipping it out, planning times. It's hard with the time difference between Eastern Standard Time and Pacific Standard Time. Yeah, it's still up in the air, and I do have several friends from college that want to also be on the podcast, but that would stray a little outside the Asian adoptee experience, of course, which I would love to have them on there. It's just, I don't know, I'm a little torn between what I want to do. Maybe I'll do both, but again, logistics, all of that, it's a little hard to wrap my head around at the moment. So the updates for the podcast. Personally, I had the holiday season, so I have been flying between the Midwest and Seattle for the past 2 months, it feels like. It's been good. I'm a little tired of traveling. I have found it's just not quite as adventuresome as it used to be. It's a little tiring, especially being a solo female traveler. You have to be aware of your surroundings the entire time. Like I said in a episode before, it's just a lot of time to drive to the airport, be there early, right? I lose time coming to the Midwest. The flight is long. It's about 4.5 hours. And then making my way home, which is another 2 to 3 hours driving. It's a lot of work. Yeah, I haven't really had time to record and then eventually edit podcast episodes. So now I'm just sitting down to record one. Other updates, I did meet a boy while I was out here. A guy, a man. Okay, we've been going on dates and such for the past few months. It's going well, but that is another item, taking time away from this podcast, which is, totally fine. I'm living my life, you guys would agree, I think. But yeah, as a New Year's resolution, I think I want to keep up with this podcast. I'm not sure if I will post weekly, if I'll post a couple times a month, if it'll be consistent. We'll see. It's a little different too, because a lot of the topics of podcast episodes I have written down were brainstormed with Josh, and we were gonna talk about these subjects together. And so obviously I have my opinions on things. I have a lot of opinions sometimes, but yeah, I'm just not sure how much of it I will talk about. I have to sift through all of that, and then I'm also considering do I keep these episodes to an hour still? Or do I cut them shorter? I mean, do people really listen to me talk for a whole hour? Like, it's a little different not having a co-host as well. It's just me word vomiting, trying to keep the ums and likes, under wraps. It's a little hard when I'm literally just rambling. So we'll see about that. For other New Year's resolutions, and I did write them down. Let's see. As you can see, my room is a little more put together if you're watching on YouTube. Very cute, in my opinion. This was mounted recently, thank goodness. Let's see. My New Year's resolutions. I have a lot of things written down. So I don't know if I'd consider them resolutions as much as just how I want to frame my new year. So I've got a couple of categories. So I've got physical, beauty, hobbies/free time, fashion, finance, social, apartment. So yeah, physically, I want to get back to consistently working out, which I have been. Going to the gym with the guy I've been seeing, which is good. So, good habit to get into, of course. It's great that he goes very consistently, so I don't have to motivate myself. It's almost like he's going, so I'm going. And that's it. That's that. Which is good. So I also want to eat cleaner, drink more water. I struggle a little bit with eating, I think, enough food or just not being picky. Sometimes in my mind, it's quote unquote better to not eat anything, to eat something unhealthy or fatty or whatever, which is probably not a great mindset. So I need to work on that. I also need to find doctors in Seattle. I need to find, I've been saying I need to find them. I need to sit down and actually get with the program for that. I also want to take my supplements consistently. I have a couple, but mostly my allergy pill and my vitamin D, which is a big thing. Vitamin D is something like a lot of people are deficient in. Pretty sure Josh said that in a previous episode. But I definitely feel the need to take it being in Seattle. It's like, it literally gets dark at 4:30. It stays a little bit lighter out now because the winter solstice has gone by. So I think it gets dark at like 4:40 now. But it's still terrible. Like, it gets dark fast, and then as soon as it gets dark, I want to go take a nap. That's been an issue, especially traveling. Like, taking my supplements consistently has been terrible. So I need to work on that. I've written down more protein and carbs, ? That has to do with the eating portion. And then walk 10K steps every day. And I got a walking pad for that, which will be amazing while I'm working from home. Depending on how light and quiet it is, I might be able to take it into the office, but I have literally just received it today. So we will see about that. But when I think about that, it's just like going to the gym is not enough to offset me sitting at a desk for 8 hours. And I've been trying to stand more when I'm in office, but again, I haven't really gone into office since before the holidays. So yeah, not a whole lot of standing, not a whole lot of, like when I'm working from home, low key, I'll be sitting in my bed, like, working from home. So not getting almost any steps per day. Like, and going to the gym, going to the gym doesn't offset that movement, that consistent calories burned or just steps in general. So yeah, anyways, even though I'm going to the gym, I still need the 10K steps every day. Okay, moving on. Going to beauty. I want to be consistent in my skincare. Some people might call me vain, but I'm very much into skincare. I like makeup. I don't wear makeup every day. I don't try to be reliant on that and feel like I have to put on makeup before I go out. I feel like that's an unhealthy mindset I've fallen into before. So being consistent with my skincare, making sure the base of my existence, skin, whatever, I don't know, is the best it can be, and then being consistent with what skincare plan I implement. I don't know, that just helps my self-esteem, my mindset. So maybe one episode, I don't know, this is not a YouTube channel, this is a podcast, so it's but like I'm like recording my video, so I'm like, in my mind, it is visual. So I don't know, maybe one time I will do a skincare and makeup routine video that obviously would only go on YouTube. I think that'd be fun. Yeah, again, I'm into skincare. I've been leaning more into like Korean or Asian skincare, which people say is like better quality anyways. So yeah, excited to stay consistent with that. I would like to get my lashes done every 4 to 6 weeks, probably 6 weeks. I like lash lifts. I don't really do the extensions. I kind of have this fear of like I'm gonna get an eye infection if I get extensions. So I'm most confident doing those at this point. Having like pretty lashes as soon as you wake up is amazing, especially as an Asian girl. Like I feel like a lot of Asian people have like short, straight lashes. Like I don't know. I just feel more like feminine with curled lashes. I feel more put together when I can wake up and I don't put any makeup on, like right paired with the skincare routine. And permed lashes, pretty good combo for me at this point. I would also like to paint my nails more. I used to paint my nails a lot like a year ago. I would consistently do them like every 2 weeks. My nails grow pretty fast right now. They're a little blue color. But yeah, I just like having my nails painted and then having them look nice. I need to find a cuticle oil. Anyways, this is a lot of beauty stuff you guys probably don't care about. And then included is to sleep 8 hours every night. Scientifically, right, women are supposed to get more sleep than men. And I find if I get anything less than 8 hours, I feel terrible. I feel empty inside. I feel like a zombie. So I really like to get back to getting a consistent 8 hours of sleep, which hasn't been too bad when I work from home, right? I don't have to take the extra hour in the morning to get ready, to commute, to think about what I'm wearing, put on makeup, do my hair, all of that. So it hasn't been too bad, but once I have to go back into office more, I will need to be more on top of that. Next category I have is hobbies/free time. This kind of pairs with the social aspect of my life, but I am considering joining a little local orchestra. I brought my oboe back. If you guys didn't know, you should know. You should watch my episode, the first episode. But I double majored in classical music and advertising in college. So my primary instrument is oboe, and I brought my oboe back. I haven't touched it since May, since I graduated. It's hard to keep up with if you're not consistent. Like before, right? For the first time in like 8 years, I haven't had private lessons. I haven't had ensembles to play in. I haven't had recitals to prep for. None of that. So it's like weird. Like I don't have any of that to keep my playing abilities up, and also just like that pressure to like. If you know anything about music, classical music, double reed instruments, the reeds are very like finicky. I still have reeds left over from obviously like when I was playing more consistently. I think I have some good ones still left, but you know, like reeds have lifetimes and they die. And then I'm not a good reed maker. I know I went to school for classical music. For the first 3 years of my degree, I was a performance major. Out of that, my last year, which is, you know, it is what it is. It's fine. I'm not gonna be a professional musician anytime soon. But I really lacked on my reed making, so I'm not a good reed maker. And I like to buy them, but then you know when you buy them, it's a gamble. They're expensive, all of that. So you know, I have a couple of like things holding me back, but I think I should try it. The orchestra. I'm also like a little iffy about if like the ensemble are they like intense? Are they competitive? Or are they just like, we don't care? Because it's like, I want something in between. I don't want to join an ensemble where no one cares and then they sound like doo-doo. Like, that's not fun. As a musician, I don't know if I would call myself a professional musician, but a musician, right, you hold yourself to a high standard, and it's just like, I don't want to be part of something that's like bad. I don't know. Maybe that's something I need to get over though. Like, I don't know, with any kind of rec league or whatever, I guess you have to get over like being bad or having people who are like not that good or don't care. So that's the whole thing. So I also would love to get a piano for our apartment. We have space for it. I've been torn. I don't think I'll get a real piano. I think I'll get a keyboard. There's some pretty good keyboards with weighted keys and stuff, all the pedals, all of the bench and everything that comes with it. But I just gotta figure that out. It would be nice to just like have it to play if I'm working from home and it's a slow day. I get to exercise my brain, both sides, left and right. I miss playing piano. It's so much easier to sit down on a piano than it is to, get out your oboe. And also the stamina to play piano is much longer than oboe. Max for oboe, I could probably play an hour before my mouth muscles putter out. I don't know. We'll see. I love the piano. I miss it. It'd be nice to have music in the house again. So there's that. I'm a little interested in like volunteering. And also this is hard because I only have so much time outside of my 9 to 5. I'm seeing this guy, which also takes a lot of time because I like hanging out. I want to do all these other things like make more friends, which is in the social aspect later. And then on top of that, right, I have to pick and choose what I want to do, what fulfills me, what is worth my time, I guess. So it's a little hard to figure that all out, as well as going to the gym on top of that. I don't know, guys. Being an adult is hard. If you haven't heard me say that before, it's true. It's true. So, yeah, just all things that I have to think about and consider. Going on, like the social aspect, like meet people through the things I'm doing outside of work, of course. And then, see, another category I have is fashion. So I'm not gonna buy new clothes unless they're thrifted, which even still, I should be picky. Bought a few new gym clothes earlier in the month. I bought new jeans, which I've needed because jeans are terrible. They're a pain to shop for. For me, I have proportionately wide hips and a small waist, so it's either I can't get the jeans above my butt or they don't fit in the waist. Whatever. Anyways, I found jeans that fit. I like them a lot. But anyways, no more new jeans. There's some other clothes I think I got some like sweaters and stuff, and those will be useful because I can wear them to work. But no more new clothes, at least for a while. I do want to upgrade my accessories. I feel like I lack in that. Like, I have one necklace I wear consistently. I have a permanent bracelet that my friends from college and I'll have. I have earrings that I wear, the same ones every day. So it would be nice to kind of up my jewelry game and or hats. I like hats. I feel like I'm a hat person. I was asked if I was a hat person, and I would say yes. I kind of have a big forehead. It's not huge, but it's nice to have a hat sometimes, I have a hat right here. Ooh, like going to the gym or like going hiking, it's nice to have a hat. So I like a good hat. I'm really sad I can't find the beanie that I really like. But anyways, you guys are probably like, oh my god, get over yourself. You're not a hat person. Just kidding. I don't know, this is like really in-depth. I'm sorry guys. I don't really have a whole lot to talk about this first episode, so I'm gonna ramble. Anyways, I also have a finance section because, in college, when I would make money, I would spend the money. Savings were non-existent. I made enough money in the summers during my internships that I would have money to spend throughout the school year. But now I can't do that. So I have to plan for the future. I have to have like a 401k, all of that. Think about investing. Yeah, I gotta figure that out. I did some contract work too, so figuring out how consistent that'll be, what accounts that should go into. I opened a new bank account, so that's a start. And then, figure out my credit cards, what I want to save for. I feel like that list grows longer every single time I think about it. I'm like, yes, savings, yes, emergency fund, yes, car in the future, yes, moving expenses in the future. I don't know what else in the future I'll need to buy. A human robot to do my laundry in the future. I have to think about all of that. I have to start thinking about it now. So yeah, I gotta figure out my finances. I also have to figure out like what goes where, my savings, and my this bank account and that bank account, all of that. Where do my direct deposits go? So yeah, that's a lot of things. That's basically what I have written down. I also have to negotiate my contract rate for one of my companies I do work for, which I am excited / scared for. So it'll be should be a decent step up from what I've been paid, because I have a degree now. I've been working with them for a while. A lot of other aspects, but yeah, excited but also scared for that. I feel like that's a big girl thing to do. Negotiate your pay rate. Anyways, and then last but not least, my apartment. I've actually done most of these things. These are not like resolutions. This is like my to-do list, to be honest. So I gotta build my vacuum, check. Mount mirror, check. Mount the shelf, check. Which may or may not, I did not mount those myself, so I had help. Or they did it for me. Anyways, add more wall decor, not checked yet. I have to frame my diploma, that useless piece of paper. Just kidding. But yeah, I mean, it's survived so far, not being framed. So, am I using it? Barely. Anyways, I also want to put my purses on my wall. So if you're watching, you can see where I'm pointing, which I recommend watching on YouTube, because I don't know how Spotify works. I will be uploading to there at some point. Maybe. But it's a little confusing. So, YouTube is my main posting platform at this point. Besides, like, the clips and stuff on Instagram. And maybe no longer TikTok, because TikTok's getting banned, which is a whole nother thing I'm a little sad about. Actually, after I'm done with my New Year's resolutions, I do want to talk about also what happened around the time where I stopped posting. We stopped posting. Whatever. Because I think that's an elephant in the room. And to be honest, I have my opinions on that, which others may not have agreed on, but now this is my show, so I'm gonna talk about that. Oh, so if you're watching on YouTube, I want to put my purses up, my little shoulder bags, just like on my wall. I think that would be cute, it'd be handy, it would be efficient and convenient. Anyways, I also am told I need to organize my room more. I don't think it's organized, but I guess it could be organized a little more, just a little. I love a cute little ottoman right here below the mirror that has storage also, because then I can put all of the unsightly things that I have out an ottoman, and it'd be perfect. And it's useful. I can sit there and I can do my makeup or pluck my eyebrows or whatever. Yeah, that's my New Year's resolution so far. Okay, so yeah, talking about also what happened in November nationwide. I personally was very upset with how the election went. And right, I'm not gonna make this whole thing political, right? Everyone has their opinions. This is just my opinion. But it's just like, I don't know. I fear for a lot of my friends who are not of the majority, who are not, straight, white, cis people, and their rights getting taken away. I have friends of the LGBT community. I have friends of the minority races. I have friends who are teachers. I have friends who are working in healthcare. Friends who are journalists. Friends who, we're all kind of in the same boat with the person who is elected into office and all of the things he plans to implement and all of the aspects of life that his policies will affect. I haven't thought this out. I've been trying to distract myself a little bit, to be honest. It's really sad, the amount of people who voted for someone who is so willing and so motivated to negatively affect a lot of people's lives. And so, from a adoptee point of view, right, some of the new president-elect's policies about naturalization, about immigrants and citizenship and all of that, like, that can affect the adoptee community a lot. and it can affect people who have been naturalized, right? Like, I, in theory, technically, right, due to law, became a US citizen when my parents brought me back to the US, right? I have my naturalization certificate, I have my English US birth certificate, I have my Chinese certificate, and then I remember going to, I think it was like the Social Security office for something when I was getting my driver's license when I was like 15 or 16. So I wasn't registered correctly, or it wasn't put through that I was a citizen. So for all of that time, for 16 years of my life, I wasn't technically a citizen, which is crazy. And it's like, yeah, I am a citizen. I am naturalized, whatever. It was just like a little filing problem. But the fact that things like that just like fall through government workers' hands, and it's like now that things of that nature are being threatened, I don't know, like there's already adoptees and there's already people who come from other countries legally that have trouble with the whole naturalization process, or they're having trouble gaining citizenship. It just makes me upset when certain supporters are just like, all immigrants are bad. If this didn't happen, if this immigrant didn't come to America, this wouldn't have happened. But it's like crazy because there's so much of this economy that immigrants support and that they contribute to. Like, no, maybe they're not a full citizen yet, but I have to, like, you know, give the benefit of the doubt that they're doing all that they can to obtain that citizenship, and it's not an easy process. For me, like, it was a lot different than if I were an adult trying to gain citizenship, right? Like, I didn't really have to take a test. I didn't have to wait for 10 years to become verified or whatever as a kid. But this whole thing just angers me because why, like, and this is the hard part about not having a co-host, right? Josh should like normally step in and talk about his opinions here, but I have to like kind of stop and think. Why are people so dead set against getting rid of immigrants and like cleansing the US population of them when there are much bigger problems in the world? It just makes me upset. And like, yes, there are bad people that cross the border or bad people that do this, but it's not like all of them are bad. It's not the majority of people, you know? Most people just want a better life. And you would know, like, I guarantee all of these people who are like, get rid of the immigrants, if they were in the same position, they would do the same thing, right? You would want to go to a better country that is safe, that will treat you better, that you have a chance of living a good life in. It's hard to wrap my head around, like, how unempathetic people can be. And that's just one aspect. And this is just like the aspect that has to do with this podcast and me being an adoptee or whatever. There are plenty of other things that, you know, concern me with the new president-elect. And I'm not going to get into them. You guys can be keyboard warriors if you disagree. But, you know, this is my opinion. And I think it also upsets me that so many emotions, and mostly anger, comes into these conversations of politics, when it's like, all these conversations should really be about understanding each other's points and just, I think, being more empathetic as a whole to the humankind. Right? Not to be all hippy-dippy, but like, this is everyone's first time in this world, you know? No one chose the life that they were given, and everyone is just doing their best with what they have. And I feel like that shouldn't be controversial. And I don't think it is, but these talks of politics elicit this terrible, visceral reaction from people. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. I stand by that. I stand by what I said. There's more to be said, but I can't say I'm the most educated person in all of this. I'm definitely not. That's another thing that happened. I think we didn't address it in our last episode. Actually, I don't know if the last episode that we posted is still up, to be honest. But, yeah. Just a lot of the month of November is a lot of me just like wanting to escape reality, kind of not face the truth of what's about to happen. So, yeah. Anyways, let's see. Some other things I could talk about. I have already talked a little bit about the reality between being Asian in the Midwest versus Seattle, but I'll kind of go over that again. I feel like being being Asian in the Midwest is a lot different than it has been in Seattle, because Seattle is majority white, but then the second biggest racial group is Asian, which is mind-boggling to me. Like, it is, I think it's 16% Asian, which is a higher proportion of Asian people than even in LA. Yeah, crazy. So I go outside and I see people who look like me, other Asian people. I think about my Asian identity more. I mean, I have started thinking about it more since the past probably year. Definitely since the con conference. But I don't know. It's like in the Midwest, I'm like the only Asian person when I go home, especially in my hometown. And it's like here, I'm not the only. So it's like in the Midwest, I am outcasted, kind of. That's like a strong word, but I'm different. And then here, I feel like I'm like, I look like every other person. Like, maybe I'm not special. I don't know. So it's like a weird, like, back and forth. It's like, it might just be my mindset, but it's like there's a negative on either side of the coin. Yeah, I don't know. In Chicago, it's different too, because in Chicago, there is a bigger population of Asian people, so it's not as weird as when I'm in my hometown. I don't know. It's like a weird, mind-boggling thing that I can't currently coherently talk about, I guess. I should think about that more. I'll probably bring that up in another episode. Other than that, written down on my list, I have dating in Seattle, which at this point I will probably make another episode about later, because coming up on 42 minutes. I also have Post-Grad life, which, as you guys know, and it's about stayed the same, my opinion, it's hard, right? Going to work, having not as much time to yourself. I feel like in college, I was a lot busier. I didn't have this chunk of 8 hours of my day that I couldn't do anything else, that I couldn't do anything besides work. I had sporadic classes I had to go to 2-3 times a day. I had practicing. I could do that on my own time. I had certain rehearsals, like those were built into my schedule, but it didn't last more than 3 hours at a time. I could eat lunch whenever, wherever, in my apartment, on campus, take however long as I needed, because I could do homework, or I could do my work during lunch. I could go to the gym in the middle of the day, take a shower in the middle of the day, which, I can kind of do with work from home, which is good. It's a good transition. It'd be a lot worse, I think, if I had to go into office 5 days a week. That would just be a total killer. But, yeah, it's been a good transition having a hybrid work schedule. I felt more efficient in college. Like, I was getting more things done that mattered, personally and academically or otherwise. But it's like, now I just feel like I'm not doing anything. I'm doing my work, which is great. I'm glad to have a job. Super grateful, obviously. But I'm like, what am I getting done? Like, in the grand scheme of things, I'm a small cog in the machine that functions as, working for a big tech company. But it's like, what am I doing that matters? I think that's hard. Whereas, like, in college, everything you do affects yourself hugely. If you fail a class, that affects you a lot. It's money down the drain. And you could say that's more stress or whatever, but it also was more important. It was like it had a weight to it. Oh, you have to do this thing. You have to get these tasks done, or you're going to fail out of school, or you're going to drop out of life, or whatever. Even the group stuff, like ensembles, you have to be prepared because everyone else is relying on you for their own sake. Versus, not that you don't have to be prepared at work, but it's just different. Maybe it's like the threat of monetary loss in college versus, I guess it's still monetary loss, but it's like your income versus what you already have. I don't know. Guys, I sound crazy right now, but I'm just suggesting to the post-grad life. It's hard. I feel like you have all these milestones to reach when you're in college, right? You're getting to your third year. You're getting your junior recital done. You're getting your internships done with. You're getting the final projects completed for the semester. And then now, I'm just getting to the next week. I'm just getting to the next weekend. or the next free time I have, or the next vacation. What significance does that have? Also, it's a longer period of time, right? If I'm not taking vacation for another 6 months, okay, then what? I'm just in this loop of go to work, go to the gym, go home, go to sleep, go to work. I don't know, guys. I'm not saying 9 to 5 is not for me. I think it is for me. I am content sitting at a computer, doing my own thing. It's just definitely a shock to my college brain. I think that is my rant for today. Thank you guys. If you stayed with me, if you stayed subscribed, if you stayed following me, yeah, stay tuned for more. I am going to figure out all the technical stuff, like editing, posting, making clips. That will be a learning curve, but I'm excited. I want to keep doing this. I think it's fun, and I hope people get something out of it. They feel good listening to me. Hopefully I have some kind of insight. I'm a 22-year-old girl. What do I know? This is just my take on things. So, as always, share the podcast. We have a LinkTree. It's in the bio. It's in the description of the YouTube videos. I will figure out how to maybe put it on Spotify. The Spotify thing might have to wait. But of course, subscribe. Follow me. Follow Jade in USA. It feels weird saying follow me. Share with your friends, share with your family, share to whoever you think would benefit from listening to this podcast and or like this podcast. Again, this podcast is not just for specifically Gen Z, Asian American adoptees from the Midwest. It is for all of the intersections of that. So it's for Asian people, it's for Gen Z people, it's for people from the Midwest, people from the West Coast now, because now I'm a West Coaster, and it's for people with untraditional family lives. If you don't have a parent, if you have been adopted but maybe it was an international adoption, or if you have a sibling who was adopted, if you look different from your parents. There's just like all of these cases that these outtakes that I have can affect people or connect with people. So also, it's not just for Gen Z. You know, millennials can listen to, but it is mostly a Gen Z outlook. Anyways, of course, share, subscribe, stay tuned. Thank you for listening, and thank you for watching.